This conference will now be recorded.
So today we will be discussing about software development lifecycle. So can anyone try to explain what is software development lifecycle with the help of this diagram? Can anyone explain what is software development lifecycle with the help of this diagram, guys?
I can try.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
So in project kickoff and initiation, in this phase, PM and the PMBA and client discuss about what is the requirement and what is the budget and how long the project will long. All the
Mm,
information related to business will be gathered in that. Then comes the
mm,
requirement gathering. In this
mm,
phase, BA
mm,
decides like in BAPM decides like in what chunks, if we are following agile, so in what chunks we should divide the sprint, and then the sprint
mm,
starts. So, okay. Then the analysis comes. So in every analysis, mostly the sprints is of 2 weeks, 14 days. So sprint-wise delivery we get. So we did, in this
mm,
analysis part, we discuss the story tickets, and in the design part, we think of it like how to develop, and QAs even think of the test cases preparation,
mm,
and simultaneously then the development starts. And
mhm,
with the first sprint's development is done and given to the testing in the same 14 days only. Then the testing is done. If we found any bug, then the ticket gets reopened. That's the bug life cycle.
mhm.
And then once everything is okay, good to go, then we give a sign off and deployment happens, and that's how we go to the production. And if
Okay,
operation and maintenance, meaning if any support is required and all. Yeah.
okay, okay. Nice, Shreya. That was a valid one. So how about others? How about others? Can anyone pick it up? Babita, Prasanna, Ekta?
Yeah, I can pick it up. So, in
Yeah.
terms of requirement gathering, first requirements come into picture, and all the
Mm,
team is gonna work on the analysis of requirement, like what they are like gonna to design. Then design phase come, and all the
mm,
architectural part will be covered in that phase, and all the developers will develop the application. Then testing phase is there where the testers are going to perform the testing, and if they find out any bug, then they will like inform the development team that there is the bug and application is not stable. It depends upon the developers, like if they accept the bug or not. And once the bug will fixed and accepted by the development team, then retesting phase will be there. After that, the deployment phase will be there, where the application is deployed, and after that to the end users. And once the application is live, then the maintenance phase is there. And in that case, like if any issue is coming in the production side, then the maintenance team will handle all that issues. So after that, the
mm.
project kickoff actions are there.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice. So, as explained by our fellow students, that as in project kickoff or in just a moment. So, what do you mean by project kickoff or initiation? In this phase, we always try to bid for the project. We ensure that as a pre-sales team, we need to get the project for the company by giving it at a by bidding it at an optimal price. Once we bid at the optimal price, then we start collecting the requirements. The post-sales team will sit with the customers or the product owners or the business users to collect the requirements for the product that we have given. And project kickoff or initiation, we also provide a demo of how our application will really serve your purpose for the problem statement that you have. Thereby, we have analysis. Once the requirements are gathered, we need to analyze the efforts, like how much efforts we need to spend. If the features are already built prior, then we can and use the same features here. If the features are not there, how much time would we like to take to develop and integrate within the product or the software? Then comes the design. Design means how the look and feel of the application should be there, how the wireframe should be designed, how the mock UI, how the lookup or mock UI of the screen should look like. Yeah. Then comes development. Development means will be developing the code based on the design and analytical part of the requirements that you have gathered. Once the development is completed, then we do a round of testing. One, what do you mean by what do you mean by we do a round of testing? We ensure that the application is working properly and there is no bugs or no issues found. Yeah, is it clear?
Yes.
So once the testing is done, ensuring that there are no major defects or leakages, then we do a deployment. What do you mean by deployment? Whatever the code that we have in our server, we need to move the same code to the we need to move the same code to the client server or the production servers. Once we move the same code, we have to observe how the code is behaving in that server. Based on that, we move the project into operations and maintenance. Got it? Got it? So here, where does the role of automation involve? The role of automation will involve post the testing process or right from analysis process also. Why from analysis process? Because within this gap, we need to build a framework from the scratch. We need to ensure that the robust design is maintained. By the time the product is handed over to the testing team, we need to ensure that whatever the framework we are building it up is ready to and good to go for building up the test cases. And most of the companies will also do after testing, because once the testing is done only then they will start building the framework, then they'll start building the test cases. It all depends on what kind of approach you want to take. You want to take the early approach or you want to take a post approach, that's up to you as for the company. Got it, guys? Got it, everyone? Where we can we start the automation process?
Yes.
So then comes the requirement, then comes STLC. Can anyone explain me about this STLC?
Software development lifecycle.
STLC.
It's
Software
software
testing
test
lifecycle.
lifecycle.
Yeah. Can you all explain about it? Can you explain about this STLC, that is software development lifecycle? Anyone? Ganesh?
Yes. So actually start with the requirement analysis. We'll get the requirement like the functionality of the application from the client or the business developer, whoever it may be. And once we got the complete requirement, and we need to decide like which particular tool we need to use and what type of testings we are going to conduct on this. And then we come to the test planning. Then and like we need to divide into like sprints, like in which particular sprint we need to test which particular modules. Then we'll go to the
Hmm.
test case development. Then depends upon the test, that
Hmm.
depends upon that particular the functionality. We need to write the test cases for it, and
Hmm.
we need to set up a separate environment because we have a separate
Hmm.
environments like QA, UAT, performance and production
Hmm.
servers. So for
Hmm.
each and every server, we need to have a separate test cases. and the
Mm-hmm.
test executions, like which we are talking about, the regression, half regression, and the
Mm.
smoke sanity, and the test cycle closure, and which is we can count this like what are the test cases passed and failed, and which
Mm.
we can get a track by using some tools like Zira and all.
Okay. Okay. That's perfect. Anyone else would like to say about this? Anyone else would like to say about this? Shreya, Babita. So, yeah, Ramya, go ahead. Yeah, anyone else would like to go ahead?
I think Satya has covered all.
Yeah.
Mostly documentation I want to add. We create a test plan or sometimes test strategy as per the requirement and also give sign-offs after the test closure. Also,
Mm-hmm.
when we develop test cases, we mostly use test drill or some tool to uh, maintain it, or we can add it even in Jira. Otherwise, else Satya has covered.
Okay, okay. Yeah. So it's the same thing I would like to reiterate for the STLC. But in STLC, whenever you're doing the test planning process, you also need to include a scope for automation also, because once a round of manual testing is done, only we can do automation testing. Okay? Is it clear, everyone?
Yes.
Then, so as Ganesh said, we do a round of test development, test, we gather and try to understand all the requirements, then we do a round of test planning to analyze how many members you want in the team and all the stuff. Okay? Then we start developing the test cases. Then as QA engineers, we need to have a separate environment set up for us so that we can run the test cases and stuff. So once that is done, then we do a round of test execution to ensure how the tests are running properly, whether it is pass, fail. Yeah. So then once we do a round of testing where we see how many test cases pass, fail, and skip, then we give a test cycle closure stating that with how the build, how the health of the build is, whether it is stable, unstable, and if you feel like it's failing more number of times, then we say that the build is not fit to go for next round of testing and we can block it off. And similarly, when we are planning the testing process, we have to include the number of hours that we need to give for automation also. Thus will be decided by the QA managers and the QA directors. Okay. So now there comes the Selenium suite. Okay. Let me discuss some couple of points about the Selenium family. Okay. So Selenium was invented in 2004 by an employee at ThoughtWorks because so in those days RPA or UFT was the only automation tool present which used to charge a heavy fee for using the tool. So instead of him using that much of a heavy tool, and instead of spending that much amount of money to use the RP or UFT tool, then an employee in ThoughtWorks came up with an open source tool called Selenium so that it can also do the automation testing. So the first tool that has been invented under Selenium family is Selenium IDE. What do you mean by Selenium IDE? Selenium IDE stands for Selenium Integrated Development Environment. Got it? Is this clear, guys? What is the first tool invented under Selenium family? It's Selenium IDE. What is the Selenium IDE? It's a record and playback tool. Record and playback tool, and we ensures that we uh, requires zero coding knowledge, basics of HTML is a plus. Yeah, it is an extension to the browser. Initially, it was supposed to work in Firefox browser only, but from 2018 onwards, we can also work on Chrome browser. Is this clear, guys? The points about Selenium IDE? Yeah. Any doubts? Any doubts, guys? Clear?
All good.
So let us see how do I add Selenium IDE to my browser. I will search for Selenium IDE for Chrome. When I search Selenium IDE for Chrome, then I click on this link. Once I click on this link, so already this extension is added in my browser, so I'll remove it. Okay, once I click on add to Chrome, then it will ask for a pop-up like, can I add extension? Yes, you can add the extension. Okay, once I add the extension to the browser, how do you want to view the extensions? You need to click on this extensions icon. Once I click on this extensions icon, then you can see your Selenium IDE here. So I'll click on this Selenium IDE. So once I click on this Selenium IDE, what I will do, I will click on record a new test in a new project. Since you are opening the tool for the first time, we will click on record a new test in a new project. So what is the name of the project that you will give? What is the name of the project? Test recording. That will be your project name. So you can give whatever name you want. Now you want to record the flow for what applications? For suppose I want to record the flow for this particular website. So here what we need to give, you need to give the URL of the website for which you want to start recording the flow. So I click on start recording. Once I click on start recording, I can click on the screen. Then I can click on scorecard. Then I can go to full commentary. Then I can go to match facts. Then I can navigate to this link. Then I can click on scorecard. So these are the set of actions I've recorded. Then if I want, I can come down, I can scroll down a bit. So once that is done, then I will stop the recording. Once I stop the recording, you need to give the name for your test case. So I can give some name like first test case. Once the recording is done for this test case, then what I can do, I can click on this play button to play back the same test case. Got it, guys? Got it, guys? Clear how fast it has played back the same flow?
Yes.
Uh,
Now, if you want to reduce the speed of the execution, you can click on this timer button and you can reduce the speed of the execution from fast to slow like this. Once you reduce the speed of the execution, then you can play back. Got it, guys? How slowly the execution is going on?
Yes.
I have
Any doubts, guys?
questions. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So what we are testing in this way means just the recording?
Uh, it's a record and playback tool. As I mentioned in my points, that is just a record and playback tool.
Yeah.
So once we record the flow, if there is some disturbance in the flow, then the code obviously fails, right? Like when you record one flow, suddenly you change the year of the application, then that flow will be failed, right? So this is not a testing tool. It's just like a record and playback tool. What do you mean by record and playback tool? You record the flow. Once you play back the same flow, if there is any changes in the code, then that playback will fail, right? So that way we will tend to understand like, okay, the year of the application is changed. So again, I have to rerun it, record it again and play back it again. Got it, Aditi or Shreya?
Yeah, got it.
It's just a
Thank you.
record and playback tool, and it is one of the oldest tools in Selenium that we still that still they use it. So in reality, we do not use any Selenium IDE. Whatever the Selenium IDE I'm discussing here is just for interview only. So the
I
main
have one question.
disadvantage, yeah,
Suppose we clicked on the second tab, right? A scoreboard. So
yeah,
instead of scoreboard, something else comes up. So it will fail when I start to record
yeah,
again play it.
like
So
there
it
are two
search
ways to
for the
look.
same.
There are two ways to
Yeah,
look at it, Shreya. The scorecard can be here, it can be
yeah.
here, it can be here anywhere. That is not a problem for
Mhm.
Selenium.
So
But the
how does
scorecard
it
link
work?
should
It
be there.
search for the title.
So here, if you see in the recording, it will search on the basis of link text.
Text. Mm.
It will search on the basis of text. So text wherever it is, it will find itself and it will click on it, right? On that
Okay, but if
particular page
multiple
where
scorecard is there, then it will fail.
there, then that's a
And
problem.
in the
Yes.
yeah.
It will not fail.
Okay.
Whatever it finds first, it will click on that.
And it will play. Nothing will stop.
Yeah, it will play.
Okay. Fine.
Suppose I say this here also have one scorecard, here also I have one scorecard. Whatever the scorecard it sees first, it will click on that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's just like you have 10 different routes. Generally, as humans, what will happen? We'll be confused, right? Which one to choose or pick it up. Yes or no? But what
Yeah.
Selenium does is, if it finds like it has with the help of the same, I mean, the same text is found at 10 different locations, and whatever it finds first, it will click on it. It doesn't get confused or doesn't become ambiguity. It doesn't become go into ambiguous state. Got it?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Got it.
Whatever it finds first, it clicks on that element. Yeah.
Yes.
So what are the disadvantages? We cannot use conditional and looping statements. Okay, we cannot write any conditions to check whether this condition is satisfied or not. We cannot write any looping statements in the middle. we cannot modify the script. We cannot modify the recorded script that easily. Okay. It is mainly used for prototype demonstrations. What do you mean by prototype demonstration? That means you don't have the complete application built, and at the same time you want to simulate the flow of the application. So you can use the Selenium IDE tool to simulate the flow of the application and just show as a demonstration to the customer that this is how the application behaves instead of you doing it manually. Got it? Got it? Execution slow compared to Selenium RC and Selenium WebDriver. Got it? Is this clear, guys?
Yes, Ram.
Shreya, Ganesh, Prasanna, Aditya, Subhash, Rajdeep, clear?
Yes, sir.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
It's Rahul.
thanks. So this is one of the first tools of Selenium family, that is Selenium IDE, and it's a just simple record and playback tool. Okay. So do you think by using this record and playback tool, can we do the actual testing?
No, I don't think so.
No, no, no.
No. So that is the reason we have in the year 2006 a Japanese engineer, has ma 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 a Japanese engineer has invented a tool called as Selenium RC, which overcomes the disadvantages of the above tool. Got it? Okay. So here Selenium RC stands for Selenium Remote Control. Okay. Is this clear, everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
So, so this is the architecture of Selenium RC. So when you see the architecture of Selenium RC, what is happening here? You have the code written in Java, Ruby, C hash, Python, or PHP. So let me share a point about Selenium RC. Initially, we are supposed to write our test cases in the form of JavaScript. JS stands for JavaScript. But from 2018 or version 1.25, it has allowed the end user to write the scripts in the form of Java, C hash, Python, Ruby, etc. Got it? So whatever the automation script that you want that you have written in Java, C hash, Ruby, Python, which should which says like you have to automate this flow and something like this. So whatever the test script that you have written in Java, C hash, Ruby, Python, or PHP, what happens? The script, whatever you have written, will go to the Selenium remote control server. So here, what is happening? Here, Selenium remote control server acts as a mediator between your script and the browser. Okay. So here, Selenium remote control server will act as a mediator between your browser and the Java. So what does its Selenium remote control server do? It converts the complete code into the form of JS script and injects them into the browser. Okay. What? So with the help of the Selenium remote control server, it injects Selenium core. What do you mean by the Selenium core? Selenium core is nothing but a set of JavaScript commands that will be executed onto the browser. Got it, guys? Whatever the code we have written, we are sending it to the remote control server. Once we are sending it to the remote control server, then a Selenium core will be injected into the browser and it will run the test cases on that particular browser. Is the flow clear for Selenium remote control server, guys? Yeah? Is this clear, guys?
It is not stadium now. Yes.
Sorry, someone was asking something. Yeah. So this is what is happening with Selenium remote control server. So here we are able to write the code properly. Here we are able to execute the code directly onto the browsers with the help of a mediator. So what could be the challenges here? Here, what are the disadvantages that it could be? Com Selenium RC architecture is a complex one. Why? Because whenever we are executing the script, this acts as a mediator. So whatever the architecture that is present acting as a mediator is one of the complicated ones. We don't know what is the exact behavior of it. Okay. And this is one server we need to always keep it up and running. If the server is not there, then the code will not work and it will not be executed onto the browsers. Okay. And we need to keep the server up and running all the time. By executing too much JavaScript commands onto the browser, it creates an overhead onto the browser. What do you mean by overhead? It creates a too much load on the browser due to which the execution of scripts tend to get slower. Got it, guys? Is this point clear? Babita, Shreya, Aditi, Ekta?
Can you explain one more time this point?
Which point? The
Yeah,
last
can you
point?
explain?
Second.
This last point? Yeah, yeah. So what is happening here? Selenium core is nothing but some set of JavaScript commands that you are executing onto the browser. Once you execute all the JavaScript commands onto the browser, what will happen? The browser speed of the execution on a particular browser will be slow because the more number of JavaScript commands that you execute, it will take more amount of time to be completed. Got it?
Yeah, thank you.
Any doubts, guys? Any doubts?
No, Rahul.
No.
So here we cannot do API testing and headless testing. What do you mean by headless testing? Generally, what will happen, whatever the code we have written, once we trigger it, the browser automatically opens and it performs a set of actions. What do you mean by headless testing? The execution happens in the background, like how a Windows update happens in the background. It is like a backend process that is called as headless testing. So that is one of the most popular things that is happening in the market currently, headless testing. So with the help of Selenium RC, you cannot do headless testing. Is this clear, guys?
So, in terms of this course, do you also teach us the headless testing?
Yeah, and using Selenium WebDriver.
Okay.
So it means it's a backend like testing, you
Yeah,
can say.
that scripts run as a backend process. You will not see the browser opening and executing in front of your eyes.
Okay, so everything is happening at the backend.
Yeah, and you will get the results generated. Like once the execution is completed, you'll have the
Mhm.
results ready in your folders.
Okay.
Hmm. So that is one of the need of the hover because as it runs as a backend process, we can also perform some different activities in that system, right? Because if we run the automation script, we have to leave that system dedicatedly for that, right? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the things with Selenium RC. The major upgrade from Selenium IDE to Selenium RC is we have enabled the process of writing our scripts in a form of a programming language. And the major challenge is the architecture is pretty complex and more number of JavaScript commands if you execute on the browser, it will create an overhead onto the browser. Is this clear, guys? Any doubts? Hmm? Okay. Then comes the latest tool that is available in the market that is called as Selenium WebDriver. It was invented in the year 2010. Okay. So how the Selenium WebDriver works? If you see the architecture here, whatever the code we have written here, the same code will be sent to the JSON via protocol. Okay. Whatever code we have written is sent to JSON via protocol, which helps us in converting the complete code in the form of HTTP request and response. Got it? Is this clear, everyone? Is this clear, everyone?
Yes, Rahul,
Yeah.
clear.
Yes, Rahul.
Yes, Rob.
So once the complete code is converted into the form of HTTP request and response, so now what we are having for every browser that we have a separate driver object for that browser. That means what? When we are working with Chrome, we have a separate Chrome driver object. When you are working with Firefox browser, we have a separate Firefox driver object. So why do we need a separate Firefox object? Because this exe file will help us triggering the interaction with the browser. Okay, got it, everyone?
Yes, Rahul.
Okay, so that is what will happen. So once this is done, what will happen? Whatever the HTTP request we have having it in the browser driver, we are sending it to our real browser and we are getting the response. So what is happening here? Here a request and response mechanism is happening here. So that is why Selenium WebDriver is one of the lightweight tools to use. Here the interaction with the browser happens in the form of HTTP request and response. Clear? Is it clear, everyone?
Yes.
So here means instead of converting the code into JavaScript, it is
Mm,
converting it into
then
HTTP
into
request and
HTTP
response.
request and response, so that it is lightweight and easy to interact with the browser.
Right. Okay.
To automation testing. Got it? Got it, guys?
Yes.
From
Yes, Rahul.
from Selenium 4 onwards, this JSON wire protocol concept is removed. More. So instead, what is happening? The code will be directly sent to the browser driver, and within the browser driver only the conversion of the code happens into HTTP request and response. Got it? The code is sent to the browser driver directly and converts the complete code to HTTP request and response. Got it? Is this clear?
Because of this functionality, the system is like more lighter now because one of
The,
the
the execution is more lighter, you should say, not the system.
oh yeah, executions.
Yeah. So with this, we can also perform, because of this, we can perform headless testing and API testing. Because the API testing mostly happens on request and response. So since our complete code is converted into HTTP request and response, it is highly possible now to do API testing also. Got it?
Yes.
Got it, everyone?
Yes, Rahul.
Yeah. Rahul, in sixth point, you told right that the JSON wire protocol will be act as a mediator which convert from
No, so
complete
in
code to
JSON 4, it
HTTP.
is, yeah, in Selenium 4 onwards,
Uh,
this JSON where protocol is removed. So the code will be sent to the browser driver, and within the browser driver only, the complete code conversion happens into HTTP request and response.
okay, in browser driver only, we will get to total
Yeah,
HTTP. Yeah, okay.
the code conversion will happen in Selenium 4 onwards.
Okay.
Yeah, Ekta, is it clear for you?
Yeah, I was also like going to ask the same question, like where this conversion takes place when this JSON wire
Hmm.
protocol is removed. Yeah. So I got the
Yeah.
answer now. Thank you.
So these are the things with Selenium WebDriver. How do we use it? How what is the architecture and all? So whatever the architecture points that we have discussed so far, is very much useful for you to crack the interview, because this can be a definite question in the interview saying like, can you explain the architecture of the Selenium family, and can you explain the architecture of Selenium WebDriver? This is one of the straightforward common questions in your interview. Yeah.
Yeah, Rahul.
Hmm.
Here you told we can perform headless testing and API testing, right? These two
Yeah.
only we will do with Selenium or any other testings we have.
Like these days, even Cypress and Playwright are also allowing us to do API testing. I'm not so sure about headless testing, but these tools also allow us to do API testing.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Rahul. Yeah, yeah.
Any doubts? Any doubts so far, guys? Any doubts, guys? Can I go ahead?
Yeah, Rahul.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
So with this, we have covered one of the most of the tools with respect to Selenium family. So there is another tool called as Selenium Grid. What does it do? It helps us in doing the executions in a distributed mechanism. What do you mean by distributed mechanism is, suppose I have 10 test cases. Now I have the laptops of Ekta, Ramya, Aditi, Shreya and Babita in my hands. So instead of executing all the 10 test cases in one system, suppose I assume that all your laptops are connected in one network. So what I will do, I'll execute two test cases in each and every system. So that is how we can run the test cases in distributed environment. Is it clear, everyone? Instead of executing all the test cases in one system, I'll execute two test
So,
cases in Aditi system, or I'll execute two cases in Ekta system, Babita system, and Shreya system, and I'll get the results consolidated.
so for that, then the network will be the one, right?
Yeah, we should all be connected under one network and one hub.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
And can we perform the cross-browser testing also with this mechanism?
Yeah, with Selenium WebDriver we can do that.
Okay, like two test cases you can execute on Google Chrome and two on Firefox kind of thing.
Hello? Hello?
Rahul, we are not able to hear you, Rahul.
Now I'm audible? Ekta,
Ye-
Aditi,
Yes, yes.
Ruchi.
Now you are audible.
Yeah, now we can.
Okay. So Uh, are there any queries or questions with respect to the topics that we have discussed just now? Satya, Aditi, Babita, Ramya, Shreya.
It's good so far.
Yeah. So tomorrow's class will be more on installation of tools related to automation. So what are the tools that we'll be installing? JDK 17, Eclipse, Git Bash, IntelliJ, Apache Maven, MS for database testing. Got it?
Okay.
Got it, everyone?
Yes.
So we will see the installation of all these tools in the tomorrow's class, followed by we'll be going through some basic programming. Okay?
Mhm.
I hope I'm clear.
Yeah.
Yes, Rahul.
And do we need to install these tools simultaneously as you are doing?
It's better you listen to the class first, then you install it later because it will be pretty easy for you. If you install it post class, it will be like a revision for you. And if
Hmm.
you have any queries also, it is very easy for me to clarify.
Okay, so in case we have any problem, we can consult the next day.
Yeah, you can
Okay.
consult the next day with me. My contact number is there in the group. You can always get in touch base with me.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? Clear? Mm. So we will catch up all tomorrow at the same time.
Rahul, thank you.
Mm.
Okay,
Okay, Rahul.
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Rahul.
Bye.
Thank you, Rahul.
Thank
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Rahul.
you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Take care. Bye.
Mm.
Bye, Rahul.
Bye.